Let's go! Today, guys, we're going to not only talk about Bitcoin on lower time frames and talk about these patterns, we're also taking a look at some on-chain data, and I'm going to explain the bull run of 2020 and the bull run of 2021. What affected this bull run and what can we learn from it? Guys, this is an important video because I got some clues as to what's going to happen next and you need to be prepared for it. Alright, welcome back everybody. My name is Cristiano, bringing you cryptocurrency videos every day, teaching you how to make money in this market. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and activate the bell. And with that said, guys, let's get straight into Bitcoin, because on lower time frames here on Bitcoin, let's get this out of the way before we talk about the bull run of 2020, 2021 and what we can learn from it and what's about to happen next. Okay, so on lower time frames here, we can see that Bitcoin is still being supported by the orange line. That's fine. I mean, you know my overall stance right now on Bitcoin. Everything in between these two red lines at $42,000 and $30,000 is just noise. Now, we are going to see a big move. I think that is going to happen pretty soon, and I think that the rest of this bull run is going to start towards the latter parts of this summer. So that's the time frame, that's what I'm expecting. You got the moving averages still sloping down. This is not going to come as news, but you can see that the 200 period moving average on the 4-hourly time frame is at $35,000, and also on the daily time frame, which is the more important moving average, you can see that this is also sloping down at $35,000. So a couple of more weeks and we will have to see a resolution, and we will have to break this either to the upside of the moving averages, or we will have to break down from $30,000. So that's the big move we are waiting for, and we are going to see that big move. Now it's just a matter of preparing. This is the calm before the storm. So I am going to keep you updated on that. If you want to know more about what we are watching and exact levels to watch, well, make sure to watch some of my previous videos. Now, let's talk about some patterns. So on the 4-hourly time frame, we have this structure here on the 4-hourly, as I said, and this is a symmetrical triangle, and this is usually a continuation pattern. So, you know, the trend is up from this point, so maybe we are going now, this is pretty big actually. So maybe we're going to see a breakout here, and that is most likely going to also take us above many of these key levels, like the blue line here at $36,000, the orange box at $38,000. So that's something we are definitely paying attention to. Now, how is this triangle formed? Well, you can see that we have a couple of touching points here on the lower end. You also have many touching points here on the upper end. Now, if you were to extend this right here, you could probably do something like that, which means that this is even bigger. Now, this is not perfect. We can adjust it a little bit better. So we can do something like that. So you have touching points on the on the upper end here, and also you have touching points here on the lower end. Now on the lower here, you can maybe do something like that if you want to. So in that case, you're having support here on the wicks, down here, on here, and also a couple of touching points here. Nonetheless, this is a formation that is playing out right now, and we are about to see a breakout to the upside or downside from this triangle. Now, I'm not, a wizard. I don't know where it is going to break to, if it's going to be to the up or downside. But if you're looking at a triangle like this, then this is usually, just like I said, a continuation pattern, meaning that it usually follows the trend. So pay attention to that. Now, also on the daily time frame, you remember the big wedge we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. And you can see that this wedge right now, we're actually right now retesting it on the downside. So we did see that retest right here a couple of days ago, and now we are starting to go up again. So when looking at the larger formations, not on the 4-hourly time frame, but on the daily time frame, now remember, this falling wedge, this is a bullish pattern. So we've seen that bullish breakout, retest, and now maybe we are going to continue here to the upside. So pay attention also to the falling wedge here, and let's see if this is able to continue here to the upside. I still have my orders here on Femex, so I still got my orders at $30,000. We will see if I will be able to fill them again, so that would be very nice. In that case, I've been, buying down at $30,000 and riding it to the upside, taking profit multiple times. So at this point, it doesn't even matter if we go down here to $20,000 again. That's going to be a massive buying opportunity. But while people have just been selling everything, waiting for the dump down to $20,000, we have been playing this range, buying down at $30,000, taking profit. So big congratulations to everyone who have been doing that. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that we are for sure going to go down to these levels. I am prepared for it, but I still think that the most likely thing is that we actually found the bottom here at $30,000 and that we are going to continue to the upside. But we will see. As a trader, you need to be prepared for every scenario. So I think it's more likely that we're going to not reach $20,000, but if we do that, I'm prepared for it and I'm prepared to make a lot of profit based on that as well. Now, let's talk about the bull run and the bull run we are currently in. Now, on the on-chain data, this is stuff we've been talking about for so long. Now, it's been a while since I gave you an update, but basically what we talked about during 2020 and 2021, like the earlier parts of 2021, is the balance on exchanges. So this is the amount of Bitcoin that is sitting on any particular exchange. In this case, it's actually on all exchanges. So the balance of Bitcoin on exchanges. Now, we saw a supply crisis basically from the 20th of April 2020. We saw the balance on exchanges start to really dry up. This was a supply crisis because for everyone who wanted to buy Bitcoin, there were fewer Bitcoin available on the exchange to be able to be bought. Okay, so when you have few Bitcoin and you have a lot of people trying to buy Bitcoin, the price is going to go to the upside. And in fact, you can see that during the bear market here, the bear market you see here, we go down from, around $20,000 here at the peak, and the price goes down. Actually, you can see that the balance on exchanges continues to go up. So this is just people transferring to exchanges, selling off their Bitcoin. But whenever you see the balance on exchange stagnate, like you saw here, it goes sideways and even down a bit, usually you start to see the Bitcoin price go up as well. Now, we were very spoiled in 2020 and 2021, and I will explain this. So stay with me, guys. This is very important in order to understand why we saw this massive, massive pump in Bitcoin. So in 2020, 2021, you can see that from April of 2020, this one right here, this was the peak of Bitcoin on the exchanges. And since then, we saw the Bitcoin dry up. Now, as we saw the Bitcoin dry up, you saw the Bitcoin price really shoot through the roof. This was from $3,000 down here up to $65,000 up here, right? Okay, so this is something I was talking about throughout the bull run, that when we see the Bitcoin start to increase on exchanges, well, that's when you need to be a little bit cautious. And you saw the supply shock start to decrease here. So you see the Bitcoin on exchanges start to fall here, but then it kind of plateaus a little bit until this point when you actually start to see the balance on exchanges start to go up. And that's also when you saw the price make that big drop. So people were transferring their Bitcoin to exchanges and they were selling it off. Now, as I said, we were spoiled here because this was a very, very big supply shock and the price just went through the roof based on that, because there was not that much Bitcoin left to be bought. Now, why this big sudden demand for Bitcoin? Well, before we talk about that, another thing we were talking about throughout the bull run was the NUPL, and this is the net unrealized profit and loss. And I'm going to make a separate video just talking about this, but one thing we know is that traditionally in a bull market, you got the Bitcoin price here in gray. The NUPL, when we reach the blue vicinity here on the net unrealized profit and loss, you usually see the Bitcoin price go down as well. So you can see the top here, you can see the Bitcoin price go down. You got the same here, Bitcoin price goes down on these peaks. We got here, this was 2017, Bitcoin price goes down. And now let's zoom in to this vicinity, because we didn't actually go into the blue vicinity. But I said back here in February, I said, look, we need to cool off, because if we reach into the blue vicinity here, we're going to have, a big crash. Now, we didn't get into the blue vicinity. Instead, we saw, some zigzag sharpness here. Bitcoin price continued to kind of go up, and the NUPL started to go down. Now, we were expecting the NUPL to go down, and now we have so much more room to go before reaching the blue vicinity. So this cool off was very necessary for the bull market to continue. And as I said, I think the bull market is going to continue during the latter parts of the summer. We are going to start to see big things happening. Now, why did we see this supply demand, or like demand for Bitcoin throughout this entire bull run? Like I showed you here, the balance on exchanges continues to go up, but someone is buying a lot of Bitcoin. And we were talking about this also earlier on my channel, that we were seeing Grayscale really put massive amounts of Bitcoin into the trust. In fact, they are holding like 3% of the entire Bitcoin supply right now, which is completely insane. Now, I've been talking about this and I tried to explain this yesterday, and I don't want to repeat myself, but since this has a lot of influence on the Bitcoin market, I'm just going to boil it down like this. So what you're seeing here is the premium for GBTC. So you can see that it was at 40% here in December of 2020. And a lot of people, they were buying Bitcoin, putting it into the trust in order to capture this 40% premium. And this is why you saw huge buying amounts into GBTC back in the day. And this is also why you saw a big supply shock here, because people took advantage of this premium. They bought Bitcoin to capture that, 40% initial profit. Now the premium has gone down, so you're not able to do this anymore. But, you could buy Bitcoin, you put it into the trust, and immediately you were up 40%. Now you cannot sell it immediately, you have to wait 6 months. But this explains why people have just been piling into Bitcoin to put it into GBTC. And, right now you're not seeing that demand because the premium is actually into a discount right now. So you're not able to take advantage of that. Does this mean that the bull run is over? No, I think this is just a cooling off period right now for Bitcoin. Now, I will also add that this is not, of course, the only reason why Bitcoin went up. We went up primarily because we were in a bull run, or are in a bull run. But this definitely had a huge impact on the surge we saw in Bitcoin. And another thing I will add is that you're not actually able to take Bitcoin out of the trust. So what this essentially does, this is why I mean that GBTC in general is good, because it creates even more scarcity for Bitcoin. Because when people buy Bitcoin, put it into the trust, you cannot take it out of the trust. But what you can do is that you can sell the trust shares, which is following the Bitcoin price. And so if that goes down low enough, then people are going to start to, buy the shares instead of buying Bitcoin. So in essence, it pushes down the Bitcoin price when people also sell these shares. But just wanted to add that. That's that, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know down in the comment section. I will see you in the next one.